Old school water polo fans will remember referees constantly walking around the pool to meet up with each other. Not the case anymore, as we are underway in our NCAA championship final. USC and Stanford live from the University of Michigan, and the Trojans in the white caps. They'll control things moving left to right. Stanford in the dark caps as we get underway. Here's Grace Tehaney. A host of whistles in water polo, most not that important, just ordinary fouls. The longer double burst and exclusion. We'll get to that as they arrive.
Yeah, and the first thing is matchups, right? Both teams have their matchups. They want to know who's guarding who's going to be able to exploit the one-on-one matchup. So
here's a great look inside. And right away, we'll see an opportunity for USC, and an exclusion will go on the Stanford Cardinal. And a power play opportunity coming now for the Trojans as Christina Hicks goes off. And a 6-on-5 chance right out of the gate here for USC. Opening minute of play. Here's Hochschild. Gives to Giral. That skip is good to go, and the Trojans have our first goal of the day on the 6-on-5 connect.
And you know, one of the things Coach Tanner told me yesterday is 5-on-6 is going to be really important in this matchup today. So, you know, SC getting a slight advantage early on.
Second look here. Giral, the senior from Barcelona, Spain. Good international presence on this USC roster, is able to hit on the skip, and the energy is high right out of the gate. The fourth meeting this season for these two teams. And here's an opportunity in transition. It's kept with the Cardinal. That was close to a takeaway. Chloe Arbillis is able to hang on. And now here's Fisher. That's Mackenzie Fisher controlling near side. Sister Arya Fisher, a force in at 2 meters. Hicks takes a look. Back out to Mackenzie Fisher. Shot clock to 5. Into Arya Fisher. The backhand off the bar. And the rebound will be tracked down by the Cardinal. So new life on offense.
And that was great patience by the Cardinal after getting scored on really quickly. So we'll see if they can get some offense going here.
Here's Romer. A deadly shot from the outside. Into Fisher. Arya spinning. Takes him for a ride. Draws a penalty. Arya Fisher got great position, wheeled inside, a likely goal. Officials reward her with the penalty, and now Mackenzie Fisher can try and step up to tie this game.
Battle of the centers going on.
Here's Fish, hits it, we're even at 1.
And this is important. Yesterday, Mackenzie Fisher had a penalty, didn't convert, so I think this is good confidence for her and for Stanford.
Look at the numbers on Mackenzie Fisher. She's already rewritten the Stanford record books, and how she scored, well, started with a familiar scene, something she has watched a lot. Get the ball into Arya, let Arya do the work. Mackenzie connects and adds to her total. Now 80 goals this season. She's far and away the all-time leading scorer in Stanford history, now at 285 goals in her career.
Yeah, it's incredible. Incredible to think that Stanford has 3 players on their team that are plus 60 goals in one season.
The previous record, 239 goals by a couple of national teamers, Melissa Seidemann and Lolo Silver. 6:05 to play, first quarter, even at 1. Back to the Trojans. Giral, the first goal. Out to Tehaney, the lefty. She'll let fly, and Maya Avital is there with the stop as the sophomore from Newport Beach gets her first block.
And it's great to see, you know, SC has a balanced attack. SC has great rotations. That's something that their coach yesterday, Marco, was telling me, is that they have a lot of rotations and they're looking forward to using all of those to tire Stanford out.
Yeah, it's interesting when you get to this point in the season, it's not major adjustments, it's fine-tuning, right? The little micro adjustments to try and figure out a way forward in a championship. Fisher at the backhand, good double team. Hochschild came across, as did Kearns, and helped take a little heat off that Arya Fisher backhand try.
And that might be something we see throughout this game, is making Kearns go 2-2.
So we told you about Avital. There's Caroline Stern, the junior from La Cañada, California, the full-time starter for the Trojans. This year we'll have an offensive foul away from the ball. That'll turn things over. Now Stanford can try and get out on the counter. Cardinal pushing ahead to Romer. Nuschel filling the lane. Arya Fisher giving chase. Numbers developing. Here's Romer into Fisher. Double team. Fisher steps through. No call. Gets it back. A fight for it. And the Trojans, in what appeared to be a tailor-made situation for a goal for Stanford, they do the job defensively. Great help from Sophia Lucas.
Great recovery for USC there.
And now out to Grace Tehaney. Tehaney, the left-hander. Works in on Fisher. 4:40 to play, first quarter. Here's Hochschild out to Weber. Girall. They pour it inside, triple team, and an offensive. So Tilly Kearns battling inside. Kearns had the big day yesterday. We talked about the 3 goals in the semifinal win against the Cal Bears, trying to get back to work, but the ball goes the other way.
And I think that's why it's such a deep zone. If you notice, Stanford's players are really like almost double teaming her because they want to take her away.
That was what John Tanner talked about just before this game started. They have to work through that USC zone and also provide some zone of their own. Entry in and ball under. Tilly Kearns, after giving it up on one end, comes across to force the ball under to take it away from Chloe Harbilis.
And this is something that I think SC was doing at MPSF. They were really helping from that far side on the screen. So Stanford's going to be able to, has to be able to adjust to that.
Yeah, these two met in the MPSF final. It was a 11-9 win for the Cardinal. That gave them the MPSF title and the automatic berth to the NCAA tournament. USC an at-large selection. And now we have transition action. Here's Fisher. That's Neuschel. Defenders got to make a choice. Arya Fisher, the floater, and that's over the cage and away. Credit USC here in a couple of tough spots. They have made stops.
Yes, yes. You know, it's hard to get an offensive, you know, on the perimeter. The other team gets the counterattack. They have a +1 advantage, but yes, great counterattack defense by USC. Playing the percentages, giving up like the worst angled shots.
And if you think about the fast break or the counterattack in other sports, so often when you have that number advantage, you've got to make that defender make a choice. And somehow the USC defenders have had the answer thus far. We'll have an exclusion once again. So USC with their second opportunity, 1 for 1 so far on the 6-on-5.
You know, that's like an ejection away from the ball, which is sometimes happens when it's very physical in there.
That's Skylar Jones going off. Physical start in this one. First quarter action, under 3 to play. Here's Tahaney up on her legs. Now Hochschild. Sides coming even. Girall has another. What a start. Girall has 2, both on the advantage. Then USC goes in front 2-1.
And to the point of SC having a lot of firepower, right? Here's someone that wasn't scoring yesterday and is scoring today.
Yeah, we said with a team like this in Stanford, it's the same story. You don't have to rely on one person to get 5 or 6 goals. It truly can be anyone that gets pool time here, not just the starters. These squads have depth to go 6 in and 6 out and still hurt you.
And we'll see here, you know, after goal plays are really important. How do you refocus? How do you continue to attack here for Stanford?
Ordinary, top of the perimeter. Honey Vandeweghe O'Shea defending. Ordinary.
We have a double post here by the Fisher sisters. Let's see what they can create there in the center.
Neuschel, back to Constance. Out high now, Romer. Romer lets fly, that's field blocked away. Bailey Weber multitasking. Guarding Fisher, pulls off that block and then delivers the field block with the right hand.
She's one of those players that's gonna do all the little things that her team needs.
2:07 left, first quarter, 2-1 USC. Trojans only beat Stanford once this season. And those 2 losses we told you about in the finale of the MPSF tournament, which the Trojans hosted in LA. A bevy of whistles. We have a 6-on-5 coming and exclusion. So the Trojans doing the job here early, drawing their 3rd power play. No 6-on-5s yet for Stanford.
And this is a different lineup for USC, no Tilly Kearns. So they're doing, I think, what their game plan is doing, right?
Weber now. Here's Hochschild on the advantage. Vandeweghe O'Shea. Score it from the near side. Alejandra Aznar. Well, if you're from Barcelona, Spain, you have all the goals in this game for USC. 2 for Girall. Add another from Aznar, the redshirt sophomore, also from Spain.
You know, 5-on-6 is going to be key. That was something that John Tanner was talking about yesterday, and so far they're not listening, or they're not acting on their game plan.
Spoken like a coach right there. They're not listening. They're not doing the job defensively. 1:28 to go here in the first. A 3-1 burst for USC to get things rolling here in this opening frame from Ann Arbor, Michigan. On this end, Stanford will get their first opportunity on the 6-on-5. Power play coming for the Cardinal. That's Hochschild swimming off with her first exclusion. Can Stanford get one back? Here's Neuschel. Swinging around near side. Mackenzie Fisher. That one's deflected. A fight for it. Good hustle from Sophie Wallace, but it's going back to the Trojans. They kill off that Stanford power play, and we are at 1 minute to go in this first quarter.
You know, field blocks are so important in this game. That was a great one by USC.
Trojans won't get much further. Offensive foul. Let's see John Tanner talking with longtime assistant Susan Ortwine there on the bench.
Trying to get some adjustments going.
And Coach Tanner talked about this Stanford team needing to be a little bit more coherent in the front court. Just a little move here or there can make the difference today with 40 seconds to play in the first quarter. Romer. Good look. Fisher. So they make that Harbilis, lowers the shoulder and picks up the exclusion, just trying to power her way to the cage. And that will send Osnar off.
Yes, more movement, right? Mackenzie on the ejection prior, it was an ejection off movement. Here we have Chloe Harbilis going in off movement. So that's something that they'll have to continue to do in order to be successful.
Oh, beautiful passing. Chloe Harbilis, she drew the exclusion, then got the ball back. Reward the one who draws the foul. She makes it count. Stanford has their first power play goal, and they're back within one at 3-2.
Battle of the nerves here. Got to settle down.
And we want to welcome everyone that watched Alabama defeat Missouri 3-1 in softball. Thanks for joining us. You're watching the NCAA Women's Water Polo Championship. First quarter action, USC leading Stanford 3-2 alongside four-time Olympic medalist Brenda Villa. Greg Meskel here with you from the Cannon Natatorium. We're on campus at the University of Michigan for this championship final. Defending champs, USC looking for the repeat. Stanford looking to bring another trophy back to the farm here in 2022. 5 seconds left in this quarter. On the advantage. One last chance for the Trojans. Haney at the horn. That's high and away. And that's how this first quarter comes to a close. USC, a convincing performance early on the advantage. 3 for 3 on the 6-on-5. Stanford hanging tough. They convert on their second opportunity on the power play. And what would you expect between these two powerhouses? A one-goal game after 8 minutes. We take a timeout and return to Michigan with more water polo after this. Team USA well represented in today's championship. 2 on Stanford, 1 on USC. That's Paige Hochschild, part of the gold medal effort last summer in Tokyo. And then her teammates, Arya Fisher and sister Mackenzie Fisher, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, part of the juggernaut that is the USA women's national team, the best to ever do it in the game of water polo. And when you look at Mackenzie Fisher and Arya Fisher's resume, it's just staggering. They just don't really lose. I mean, at Laguna Beach High School, the best amongst the best in Southern California, then Stanford, while at the same time Team USA, it is an epic run.
I mean, gold on gold on gold on gold.
All gold, everything.
Yes, yes.
And we are underway in our second quarter. That's the Trojans in the white caps and the Cardinal in the dark as we get started here. Pressure from Mackenzie Fisher out high. Here's Grace Haney out of Orinda, California, Miramani High School. It's a Northern California powerhouse in the sport of water polo. Shouting out schools. It's a 3-2 lead for USC. Here's Haney. That's Kearns inside battling.
I'm sure some of John Tanner's conversation at the quarter was, how do we contain Tilly Kearns and stepping up big on 5-on-6 saves?
And there's Maya Avital with the stop. Avital, all MPSF, that's the conference these teams play in. She was an honorable mention pick here in 2022. Makes the block there out of Corona Del Mar in Southern California. The exclusion This is against Stanford. That's on Skylar Jones. She has a couple of fouls early. And the power play here for USC, they've been so effective. 3 for 3 thus far. Weber now. Opening minute, second quarter. Hochschild. Girol moving in, and that one's wide of the cage. So for the first time, USC does not convert on the advantage. Actually, the second time, because they had it at the very end of the first quarter. So after starting 3 for 3, they're now 3 for 5.
We need to see if Stanford could get a 2-goal turnaround here. They finally come up with the save, like you said.
That's part of those little adjustments throughout the game. Team starts well on a 6-on-5 defense, finds a way. Good pass towards the cage, but running into a couple of defenders was Harbillas. Sahaney was there, as was Hochschild, and it's back to Caroline Stern.
Great drive. They just need to convert. I think they were intentionally matching up with Tilly Kearns, making her work extra. She's earning all the ejections on the other end.
Just an ordinary foul, and now an offensive foul. 6:16 to play, first half. Celeste Weinbelt on the attack here for Stanford. That's Romer in at 2 meters.
One of Stanford's strengths is the counterattack, the transition. They haven't been able to establish that or score on it. So
the Trojans have done a nice job getting back to cover that up. Here's Fisher, great inside water, but can't hang on to the ball. And that is Stern off her line to come up with the takeaway.
Great move, and sometimes you just have to put it in the goal because you don't know what's going to happen, right?
Sometimes you see players try and play for that penalty call, and it's not always going to be there. Here's a look. Hochschild, easy money for the Trojans. Beautiful dish. Weber to Hochschild, the turn and score. It's a 4-2 lead for USC.
And these are the moments where your leaders on your team, on both teams, the emotions are getting up high, settle down.
Second look, how about the pass from Weber on the hand?
It's a great pass. Again, Weber, you know, I feel like she's involved in all the action that's happening for USC.
Coach Pinterich talks about Bailey Weber, who made that pass, and she said she's always consistent in training, always goes hard, and that translates to game action. John Tanner and his squad trailing now 4-2. They were eliminated in the semifinals last year in the NCAA tourney held at UCLA. It was an all-LA showdown. Trojans defeating the Bruins. Attack here, in close. The extra pass. Still a fight for it. Fisher comes up with it, and an exclusion. So Romer had an opportunity. Unselfish goes to Arya Fisher. It ends up with a 6-on-5, but a takeaway. Honey Vandeweghe O'Shea in pursuit of the ball, takes that one away from the Cardinal. And now Mackenzie Fisher looking to get it back, but it'll stick with USC. So that power play opportunity, Stanford never even gets a shot off.
Yeah, and in water polo, right, all the dynamic movements, the splashing, sometimes it's hard to catch, but you've got to be aware, know where those defenders are at all times.
Honey Vandeweghe O'Shea, a true freshman, has cracked the lineup here for USC, something that is not easy to do. Under 5 to play, first half. Girol again given a lane. Timer to 5. Long distance here. Vandeweghe O'Shea and puts it high of the cage. They'll come back to the Cardinals. Stanford at 24-2 on the year. They went 5-1 in conference play. Only lost to USC in that conference meeting. That pass too hot to handle. It comes to Stern. Weber now streaking down the pool. Defenders giving chase. Sophie Wallace does a nice job recovering.
Counterattack, counterattack, counterattack. It's whoever is going to continuing to control the flow of the game. SC's doing a great job at the moment.
Here's pressure from Mackenzie Fisher. We talk about her offense, but Mackenzie Fisher was a key defender for Team USA. That was where she made her mark early in her national team career. And that pass gets away. It's taken back by the Cardinal. They'll push it back to Avital. And now get started on the offensive end with under 4 to go in this first half. The exclusion in transition, so that's away from the ball. Before Stanford can even put that ball inside, we'll see a kick out against USC.
Transition, they are really good at transition, so now they have to convert to get themselves back into this game.
Lucas excluded. Romer now. Cardinal trailing by 2, looking for something. Out high, Nuschel loads it up, save Stern. Caroline Stern there with the stop, and then a wise play from Girol. Tosses that over to the corner. Hochschild emerges, and Stanford now 1 for 4 on the 6-on-5.
Great 5-on-6. They're funneling it to their goalie. They're executing their game plan. Good cover by Arya Fisher there.
Ryan Nuschel now trying to hold down Bailey Weber, fronting on the post opportunity here. See the physicality. No easy passes for USC right now. Shot clock to 3. Good move towards the goal. Tipped away, trying to lead Girol towards the cage. Avital comes out for the takeaway.
Stanford has a counterattack if they can find the open spaces and get the ball where it needs to go.
Can't advance fast enough. USC doing the job getting back. Here's Wallace. Wallace goes inside to Fisher. Fisher turns. This is trouble, but Stern denies it. Second effort tipped away by Stern. And a timeout called by USC. What an effort from Caroline Stern. Dealing with Arya Fisher up close and personal, and able to make a couple of quick stops right on the front doorstep.
I mean, as a center, to get 2 shot attempts in a row is unheard of, but that goalie, you know, she kept her focus, she kept her arms up, and Stern coming up with 2 big saves.
Caroline Stern goes 6'2", and Coach Pinterich talked about her using her height to her advantage. She had to battle. This job was not handed to her. It wasn't one of these seasons at USC where you know, okay, Amanda Longan is our starting goalie, or you can go back through the ages. Tamu and I, right? Whoever it might have been, she had to battle to get more opportunities than the reserve Erin Tharp, and Coach Pinterich talked about her getting better every day and using that size to her advantage, and you see it right there.
Calm and collected at 6'2" in the goal there.
Under 2.5 now. First half action here. NCAA championship final. Stanford and USC. Tahaney has that one tipped away by Avital.
UCSC here is kind of changing up a little bit. They went on a double post up. We'll see if they continue to do that.
Second look. We're talking about goalies now. For Stanford, Maya Avital is the goalie. There is no official backup goalie on this roster. She has the spot. Not that she didn't earn it, but she has been the Iron Woman in cage for the Stanford squad. Tahaney comes near side now. Osnar. A little movement there on the post, tipped away. Jewel Romer able to slide in front of that passing lane and get it back to the Cardinal. This is what you talk about, Brendan, now. Yes. Can Stanford turn defense into offense here on a counter?
You know, SC's been shutting it down, but that's what they need to get back in here. And here you have your 3 top offensive players in the front court.
Arya Fisher, Nuschel. That's a trio you've seen before. Mackenzie Fisher to Arya Fisher to Ryan Nuschel. And Ryan Nuschel had 3 goals earlier this year in a key win against UCLA. Then she had 4 in the MPSF title game against USC. She has her first in this NCAA championship bout.
And you see the great passing by Arya Fisher there, and Nuschel's on her legs and is able to convert.
And for those scoring at home, Mackenzie Fisher's wearing a 12 cap now, so the 11 cap lost somewhere to the depths of the pool here at Cannon Natatorium. It so often happens in a water polo game. 90 seconds to play in this first half. 4-3 USC. Stanford now clamping down on defense and then adding a goal to get back within 1. Good opportunity. Tipped away. Kearns had it right in front of the 6-on-5. Couldn't get a clean shot off. And the ball back to the Stanford Cardinal. So the exclusion goes against Arbillis, and then she'll return. And USC, who started 3 for 3 on the 6-on-5, now 3 for 6. Stanford making that adjustment, and now with a chance to tie here with 1:05 to play in this first half.
Big save, you know, they're going back to the center. Tilly Hearn, she's on the 2-meter line. Usually that's a guaranteed goal, so big save for Stanford.
That's a huge stop on defense. 7 seconds on the timer. Skip shot, Stern. Caroline Stern continues to perform well. Now 7 saves for the junior. With 40 seconds left, about a 13-second differential, shot and game clock.
And here we'll see if USC can get the ball back into Tilly Hearns or Hall Bell. Far back, Stanford has to play defense.
Here's Hochschild. Shot clock to 10. Lucas now. They were just repositioning there. That was not an exclusion. Now Girall. Timer to 2. Trojans got to go. Out of time here. Girall will wisely dump this one aside. And Stanford will take control with 14 seconds left. And the shot clock turned off. They won't have it for long. In transition, an offensive foul. And they give it right back to the Trojans with no time off the clock. So just over-aggressive. They're trying to get position with time winding down. Now 11 seconds left, and now an exclusion. That's Mackenzie Fisher going off in the 12 cap. Power play now for USC. 6 seconds left. Here's Hochschild. She'll swing to Haney with 2. To Haney, lets it fly. That one's over the cage. And that is how this first half comes to a close. The physicality is there, the intensity ratcheted up. As we come to a close here in this first half, we will check in first with USC head coach Marco Pinturich. And, well, it's everything you'd expect here when you talk about the intensity of a final. It
is. And which team is going to get the handle on their scouting report? And it seems like USC is.
And we talk about USC and the 6-on-5. They started 3 for 3, then faltered on their last 3 opportunities, and now 3 of 6. They still hold the advantage, 4-3, as we look at some of our first half statistics. So the power play, you see those numbers once again, as well as shots on goal even up, exclusions not that far apart as well. The 1 penalty shot goes to the Stanford Cardinal. Now let's check in with Coach Marco Pinturich. Coach, 6-on-5, you start off great, and then Stanford makes an adjustment. How do you get back to those high conversion opportunities?
Well, it's all about setups. What we said on 6-on-5, we started again very well. Those couple of patient setups and finishing quick really resulted in great goals by Mireya. And even in the last couple of situations, just that little step in, getting your legs under and finishing off the pass, it's a key, to scoring the goals on those opportunities.
Yes, and you have Bailey Weber that's doing all the little things for you in the front court. So how are you going to continue to set up your players to continue to execute your game plan?
Well, when you have Bailey, she's a motor of a team. She's pulling and understanding where and how to drive. And then again, the key thing is when our centers establish a deep position, really to balance and create opportunities, for the shooters on the top to step into the area to finish the shots and find a center, who, by the way, are very productive this game so far.
Coach, thanks for the time. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
Coach Marco Pinturich and the Trojans in front 4-3. National title on the line in women's water polo. We take a timeout and come back to Ann Arbor after this. Second half on the way. The NCAA Women's Water Polo Championship up for grabs here between Stanford and USC. Brenda Villa, Greg Meskel here with you from Cannon Natatorium on campus at the University of Michigan. USC with the 4-3 lead at the half. Arya Fisher with 2 power play goals. They got the Trojans started. Stanford fighting their way back into this one. Goals from Mackenzie Fisher, Ryan Nuschel, and Chloe Arbalus. There's USC. Teams switched directions here at the half, so it's the Trojans and the Whitecaps. Stanford in the dark. Fisher and Weber battling in at 2 meters. Shot clock to 8. Here's Girall. Tries to thread the needle. That pass isn't there. Timer to 3. Field block. Arya Fisher devours that attempt from the outside. Mackenzie Fisher found her 11 cap, but she's back to work now on the counter. Opening minute.
Coach John Tanner, right? He needs that counter. They need to finish in front of the goal. Let's see if they can establish that early on.
Fisher on the skip. We're tied at 4. Mackenzie Fisher taking advantage of the field block from Arya Fisher. cruising in and converts, and she has 2.
You know, and that's her sweet spot. I feel like yesterday she did the same thing, second half, counters, and it just does so well. She's so fast and agile and just puts it away.
Second look here at Fisher on the skip. Here's Weber now. Saw that stat moments ago. These two teams have combined for every championship since 2010. They literally dominated the decade of college water polo.
The battle of the red.
Hochschild now with the shot clock to 6. Here's Weber. Kearns inside. Weber, long range skip. That's off target. And it's back to Stanford. In these championship games. Here's the counter. Going for Fisher. Has help with neutral. Defenders giving chase. Double team arrives, and there's an ordinary. There's Hochschild coming over.
And that's what they do best, is push their counterattack, get defenses off guard.
Arya Fisher tries from the outside. Caroline Stern adds another stop. So Stern now 9 saves. Maya Avatal with 4 in the goalie battle. There's Arya Fisher. Plans to come back for one final season next year with the Stanford Cardinal.
We have Arya Fisher working inside.
And draws an exclusion. That'll go against Paige Hochschild. No sure, and Stanford's in front. Just like that, the Cardinal back in business.
And it's that quick attack, right? If you go quick attack, you don't let the defense settle in. USC was having great 5-on-6 at the beginning. Water polo really is a game of momentum.
And it's all in favor of the Cardinal right now. The quick on the exclusion. One of the best times to score on that 6-on-5 right as the player is departing. They get it over to Ryan Neuschel, part of the Neuschel family of water polo players that have all come through Stanford. Sisters Kylie and Jamie, Olympians. Ryan has trained with Team USA. And she has a big goal here that gives Stanford the edge. 5-4. First lead of the day for Stanford.
And we'll have to see what this lineup for the Trojans do. They're confident in the different lineups they have. You have Tilly Kearns out, you have Paige Hochschild out, so let's see what they can create here on offense.
It's funny, Coach Pinterich said this team is more exciting when they're scoring in numbers. So personally, he likes a good defensive battle. A little bit of both here from time to time. Shot clock to 2, running out of time. Lets it fly. Somehow getting that shot off was Vandeweghe O'Shea before the timer expired. And the long rebound is controlled by Sabrina Garabet.
You know, a little risky, and it paid off, right? It paid off.
Yeah, that can sometimes be the shot that launches the counter. Instead, the long rebound. It gives new life to the Trojans. 5:15 to go in the third.
You know, interesting here, Stanford is still really deep.
Honey, Vandeweghe O'Shea, the freshman, is on the board. She's tied this one at 5.
And that's what you need, right? You need every single player to step up and make these big plays.
Rips it from the outside out of Laguna Hills, California. Strong family of athletes. Older sister Coco Vandeweghe, the tennis player. And Honey has found a home here in the water polo pool to tie this one at 5. So a good back and forth battle.
We knew it would be.
Yeah, this is, it really is. If you're new to water polo, when you get to the end of the big tournaments, the NCAA ranks, so often the Olympics, semifinals and finals, outside of when Team USA has been playing as of late, they've been so dominant. But typically, you get a pretty close 1 or 2 goal game down to the end. We'll see an exclusion on this end. Garabet goes off. Power play now for Stanford.
Everyone's so focused on this near side to the screen to us, right, with Arya Fisher, but you have the action on the far side for that ejection.
So often it's not by the ball where the activity is happening. A couple of quick passes here. Patience from Stanford. Romer Here's Arya Fisher, dumps it inside, bar down, and they'll score it. Count the goal for the Stanford Cardinal. Sophie Wallace, the beneficiary, in close.
You know, those seem such risky passes, but really they're the highest percentage passes. So if you can get that great pass onto the post.
And here it is. And these are the plays, you know, Brenda, they drill this over and over again so that in a moment like this, it doesn't feel too risky. No,
not at all. And personally, as a shooter, right, you hear that bar and you're like, oh no, but you know, lucky bounce in for the Cardinal there.
And Sophie Wallace, 25 goals on the year. One of those players in this game that doesn't get all the accolades, kind of under the radar, but a key piece of what this Stanford team does.
Yes, both teams, you know, these coaches are great. They develop players and they have those understated players that come through for them.
6-5 lead now, Stanford in front. Where does USC go to answer? Here's Weber, under 4 to play in the third. Girall now, Kearns. That's field blocked away. Vandeweghe O'Shea looking for a second. Jewel Romer had other ideas, and it's back to Stanford.
And you see Maya Avatal, they're excited. Her field blockers, her defense is stepping up to help out.
Stanford beat the Trojans 16-10 early in the year back in February. They then lost 10-8 and then won that MPSF final. Here's their 4th meeting of the year. This one for the NCAA title. Shot clock to 13. Mackenzie Fisher draws out Hochschild. Wallace now, she goes inside. Arya Fisher, but from behind, Tilly Kearns, the Australian Olympian, surging over for that takeaway.
Great awareness, great steal.
And Tilly Kearns looking to find other ways to be engaged in this game. She hasn't gotten on track scoring yet, and that's in large part to Stanford's defense.
Yes, but to give her credit, I think she's earned some ejections, right?
Oh, there's no doubt, no doubt about it. Having a role, it's more than just the goals. That's a good call.
But her team needs her to score goals also.
3 in the semifinal win over Cal.
And they weren't all in from center. One was from the outside, so she's versatile also.
Dehaney with the shot clock winding down, and Avatal sliding to the left to add another save.
Transition happening here. We'll see if Stanford can quickly get into an attack.
Meanwhile, 5 saves for Maya Avatal.
We have Ryan Neuschel in there on a post-up. Sometimes you have those assignments. If you know someone's guarding you, you take them in.
She's working on Honey Vandeweghe O'Shea. Here's Arya Fisher. And now Wallace. Timer to 8. Fisher looks inside. A little bounce on that pass. Neuschel can work with it. Turns inside and draws the exclusion. Vandeweghe O'Shea disagrees, holding 2 hands up, feeling as if she didn't commit the foul. But she is headed off for 20 seconds. A timeout called by Stanford. They'll have the 6-on-5. So an exclusion coming inside. Let's get a second look here.
You know, all you need is like that slight hand down, that quarter turn, and Ryan Neuschel is able to draw that ejection.
You see on the replay there, Vandeweghe O'Shea has the right hand down. Right as the whistle comes out, then both hands shoot up, which is so often the case. Trying to sell that call a bit, couldn't have been her, but the officials watching it the whole way. So now we talk about power plays, and the Cardinal will have their 7th opportunity right now. USC 3 of 7. Official stats have Stanford as 2 for 7. But this is their 7th opportunity, so we'll see how they are able to convert.
And, you know, timeout, you call a timeout, you put your best players where you want them, but you're also giving the defense an opportunity to put their best players where you want them. So it's always a battle of, do you call the timeout or do you just let it right out?
That's a great point, right? Because as the offensive team, you're thinking, we're going to set things up. We have our 6-on-5 squad we're going to bring in here, but it also gives the defense a chance to bring in their best group.
I love those timeout 5-on-6. Get me at X1, that far post. I got this.
You made a couple of those work in your day, huh?
I did. And that's such a boost too. So let's see who can get this boost.
2:05 to go. third quarter. A 6-5 lead for Stanford. They trailed early, battled back. They've gone ahead now looking for a 2-goal advantage. Mackenzie Fisher changing that arm angle, rips it inside. The backhand is denied. Bailey Weber coming across on the neutral attempt. And the Trojans kill off that power play.
Big save for them.
That was Weber. Bailey Weber swimming across as Ryan Neuschel trying to tuck that one in near post on the backhand to no avail. Burns just backing up, pushing inside 2 meters, now position. Tilly turning, draws the exclusion. Well, she continues to draw exclusions, as we talked about. Sends off Harbilas with the exclusion, and now a timeout called by USC, and we'll see a bit of a replay. Right now it'll be USC's chance to call time on the 6-on-5.
Battle of the coaches, right? It's like, here you go. What's your go-to 6-on-5 play? What's your go-to 5-on-6? We will see. And
so often in timeouts like this, it isn't really about installing something new, right? Just a reminder of what's to come. We will take a quick timeout when we come back. It's the Trojans on the 6-on-5. You're watching the NCAA Women's Water Polo National Championship. A veteran coach battle. John Tanner, Marco Pinturich, and this is now entering into the chess match portion of the contest, where what little tweaks can you make to try and inch ahead?
And who executes, right? These teams know each other so well, so it's who's going to step up to make the play.
Yeah, we told you, 4th meeting of the year. They train together on national teams. They play club. They just know each other quite well. Power play for the Trojans out of the timeout. Here's Hochschild. Swings it to Weber. Sides coming even. Back to even strength. Exclusion over. Hochschild now. Less than a minute to play in the third. Swings to Haney. Shot clock to 3. Grace Haney moving in. Weber out of time. Shot clock violation. The Cardinal defense first. They cancel out the power play. And then they don't even allow a shot as they'll take over now with 48 seconds left.
That's a big confidence booster. You know, you don't score your 6-on-5. You come down. You stop one.
Trojans now 3 for 8 on the advantage. Good steal from behind. So Tilly Kearns making an impact now on both ends of the pool. Just came from behind, tipped that one away. And then on the way down, an exclusion. A tangle as they were trying to start that counterattack. USC will have the 6-on-5 here with 26 seconds left. That's Arya Fisher going off. So again, the Trojans on the 6-on-5 power play. 3 for 8. Here's their 9th opportunity. Shot clock is off. 14 seconds left here in the quarter. Haney and Geralt play catch. Move it around now. Osnar. Cross pass. Hochschild. Sides coming even. Here's Geralt. Timer to 4. Shoots it high and away. And it'll come back to Stanford for one last chance here in this third quarter if they want it. Avital gives off. Long range try, and that one is pulled down easily by Stern. We have come to the end of 3 in Michigan. In this national championship battle, we will go to the final 8 minutes with a 1-goal game. Stanford 6, the defending champs, USC 5. We take a timeout and come back to Ann Arbor after this. 4th quarter on the way here in our NCAA final, and you look at the all-time meetings here in the championship game. It goes back to 2010. That was when USC ended what was UCLA's run of 5 straight titles. Throughout that decade here, it's been these two teams meeting, and they have been trading the trophy back and forth. They meet again here in 2022.
Oh, yes, and I believe, what is the Stanford's 25th appearance in the NCAA final?
They have been to every NCAA tournament that has been offered since 2001. As a turn inside, we get back to it here with Tilly Kearns.
And they're still going to keep going back to her. You know, that's what's been working for them. So we'll see how much more she can create for them. Maybe get some natural goals for them.
Here's Geralt. Kearns again. Battling inside. Here's Kearns. Steps to it. Backhand. Rips it. Bar down. Tilly is on the board.
And they need those naturals from her. They're forcing the ball in there, and she came through.
63rd goal on the year for the native of Sydney. Good step out.
Yes, that backhand. She had one yesterday. She has one today. and that'll fire up your team.
And it's funny for centers sometimes. It's almost like watering a plant, right? You just keep setting up position. You don't see the fruits of it. And then comes springtime, or the fourth quarter in this case, you start to get opportunities to take shots.
Yes, and it's one of those, right, as a center, you'll miss maybe 10 shots, right? But all you need is that 1 or 2 natural, and that's the spark, and that's what your team needs from you. So you're working all the time.
And we are tied now at 6. Just 30 seconds in to this fourth quarter. Now Nuschel goes right to Fisher. Mackenzie Fisher taken down from behind. And that will go against USC. It'll be an exclusion on Weber. Power play now for the Cardinal. Mackenzie Fisher lets it fly. Stanford right back in front, 7-6.
You know, she scored early on a penalty, and now she's getting going again. She has a tendency to come into the fourth quarter and get things started. So we'll see how this plays out.
A hat trick now for Mackenzie Fisher. She now has 13 goals against USC this season. Has found a way to find the net here against the women of Troy. And her 82nd goal, that's not a typo, 82nd goals, or 82 goals for 82nd of the season.
It's so interesting. She's known as a defensive player, and then here in college, she has been racking up those goals.
In high school, Laguna Beach High School, that powerhouse, she scored a ton of goals, then shifted to more of a defensive role for Team USA. And in the collegiate ranks, does it all, including piling up the goals. And we told you this could be her last water polo game at a very high level. Inside Kearns, back-to-back goals for Tilly Kearns on the exclusion as Sophie Wallace was sent off, and Tilly Kearns has a couple of quick ones. The captain making an impact here for the Trojans in the fourth.
You know, and those are deadly ejections there, right? The ball's in the hand of your teammate. You get a kick out without the ball at set. That's a quick turn and a dagger.
And you can see the panic that sets in as Wallace is excluded. They know the center is now left open. That's a problem. So Tilly Kearns drawing exclusions early and now scoring late. 2 goals in this fourth quarter. Now 8 goals in this NCAA tournament here in Michigan. And we are tied once more, this time at 7.
Stanford's going with this double post.
Bailey Weber with the right hand. The key field block on that neutral try. And now Stern will move ahead to Bailey Weber.
And SC trying to find where their center is. It's working for them. They need to find her in the pool.
I see Mackenzie Fisher keying in on Tilly Kearns. 11 on 11 right now.
And that might be the answer for a couple minutes for Stanford, right? Like, get your, defender. She's has the luxury of not always having to defend, but now, crunch time, she might have to step up.
She happens to be very good at it. You can put her into that role. 6 seconds left. Dangerous pass and taken away. They tried to fire it into Kearns, but Romer and Mackenzie Fisher were there. They come up with it, and now Arya Fisher is out in space.
Stanford's pushing the counterattack. They're open. I don't know if they'll be able to convert.
5.5 to go. Entry in. A lot of white water. No call taken away. Nuschel looking up at the officials. In the meantime, Sophia Lucas snags that loose ball.
And in water polo, sometimes it's where the ball is placed. If it's slightly ahead of her, maybe she does create something. So these battle of inches.
Tipped away on this end. Hochschild trying to go to Kearns. It's a focus now for USC on offense to get Tilly Kearns involved, but Mackenzie Fisher, we know she brings length to the pool, more than 6 feet tall, and she was able to tip that one away.
Mackenzie's working.
Back to Fisher. Arya to Mackenzie, and that'll draw an opportunity inside. Mackenzie Fisher drawing the 6-on-5, and there's going to be more. A second exclusion, 6-on-4 opportunity now here for the Cardinal.
This is when you have to stay calm. That was a very aggressive foul. It was almost a steal, but stay calm.
Trojans pack the cage and they get the block. Big time stop on a 6-on-4. Bailey Weber coming up clutch, teaming up with Caroline Stern on a 6-on-4. Field blocker slides in, one-hand blocker, and able to come up with it. Second look. Stern getting a big chunk of that. Weber there. If you have any volleyball fans, that's how you close the block inside. And then a timeout called by USC. And it's so funny, when you see that 6-on-4, on paper you think, easy goal, here we go. It's not that simple.
No, and usually when you go to the post, you go low. But because they're stacking in the goal, you have to go high. So it's one of those, like, it's easy to say from the booth, right? But when you're in there in that split second, it's hard to make that adjustment.
Yeah, easier said than done, and it keeps things level here. 7-7, 4:37 to go. As we update our power play numbers, a timeout is called. 3 for 9 is Stanford, 4 for 9 USC. So as USC started off hot, and then they've been able to get back into it. And as we're here in the middle of the fourth of this championship, no surprise, Brenda, the stars have come to play. We start first with USC. Tilly Kearns wasn't scoring early, but was drawing opportunities. Now she's finding the back of the cage. So you see a couple from Kearns, and then Mackenzie Fisher, the all-time leading scorer in Stanford history, got started with a penalty and then got rolling.
And those two are probably going to match up a lot in the last couple minutes, so we'll see who can lead their team.
Another from Mackenzie Fisher. And we told you about 6-on-5 numbers, foul numbers important to consider as well. For the Stanford Cardinal, Arbillis, Arya Fisher, Christina Hicks, Skylar Jones, all carrying 2 exclusions. Remember, 3 and you're done. For USC, Paige Hochschild and Alejandra Osnar with 2 each. And Sophia Lucas has already fouled out of this one. Out of the timeout now. Stern all the way up near the middle of the pool to launch this offensive attack, and now she'll retreat.
They're trying to do an isolation for Kearns right here on the screen closest to you, posting up on the other side.
That's Girall as well, double post option. All kinds of commotion in front of the cage, a lot of white water. Here's Tahaney now working to Weber. So that initial surge there generates nothing for USC. Now they'll try a second option. Weber out to Tahaney. Off the post, that one ricocheted around the cage. Avatar keeping that one out on the attempt there from Osnar.
Great attempt, but you know, sometimes the bar lucky bounces or not. Mackenzie Fisher working in front.
Turning, save Stern. Caroline Stern has had a couple of blocks today where she is dealing with a shooter right on her front doorstep and turns it back.
Mackenzie's, you know, she can set, she can defend. She's in there. She tried one way, she didn't. She turned around for a step out. Great block by Stern.
Stern came up playing with the Rose Bowl Water Polo Club out of the Pasadena area. And kept things in SoCal now here with USC. Has kept this game even at 7. Hochschild tips it away. It'll stay with Romer.
Lucky bounce for Stanford. They still have plenty of time on the clock.
Now Wallace. Timer to 10. Here's Wallace left alone. Meanwhile, Hochschild's leaving. It's 5-on-5. Timer to 4. Wallace thinks about it. Goes to Neuschel, tipped away by Stern. Ryan Neuschel letting go with about a second on the shot clock. Stern tips it out. That'll bring new life on offense now for USC.
And great composure there, right? Like USC takes off on the counterattack. You could panic, you could give it away, but no, it's like you still have time, you communicate, you get the ball back.
And veteran move there. Sometimes just put it on cage, make the goalie make a save. They may get a tip out, as they did. Now they'll have a second chance at it here with under 3 to play in the fourth quarter. Romer, she'll take a look. A variety of fakes and hits it, going high up over the keeper. Jewel Romer puts Stanford ahead 8-7.
You know, Romer last year was one of the leading scorers on the Stanford team. This year, she's trying to adjust her role with the Olympians coming back. But, you know, I've noticed something. In the fourth quarter, she comes up and scores a big-time goal for Stanford. That was great placement over Stern's head.
You mentioned it, Romer last year, first team All-America selection, 44 goals. This year, not a bad year, but you're right. When you bring back the Fisher sisters, you bring back Neuschel, who are all training for 2 years with Team USA, away from Stanford. There has to be adjustments. The shot opportunities, they come down a little bit, but the impact is still major. 2:40 to go now, fourth quarter. Stanford in front by 1. USC has focused on Kearns. You can see Stanford has set up a triangle around the center from Australia. It leads to an exclusion. Wallace goes off. Power play now to USC.
And it's, you know, power, the leverage, like who's going to get the best leverage at set, the defender or the center? And Tilly's doing a great job of getting that lower position to create these opportunities for her team.
Girall with a bobble, comes to Osnar. Here's Girall, lets it go, save Avatal on the 6-on-5. Sides are even with 2:10 to play. A long outlet. Here's Mackenzie Fisher. Kearns giving chase. Fisher puts on the brakes, lets it fly and hits. Oh, Mackenzie Fisher, if this is the last game she ever plays at a high level, she's leaving no doubt. 4 huge goals for the 2-time Olympic champion.
And this is huge. This is a 2-goal turnaround. This is what coaches talk about. You get a big 5-on-6 save, you counter, and if you could score, it's a big momentum swing. And that is a big part of water polo, is these big momentum swings.
Fisher, the 2019 Catino Award winner. That's the water polo equivalent to the Heisman Trophy as the best in the college game. You can be certain she'll be among the finalists again this year. And she has put Stanford in front 9-7. They trailed early on. They finally surged ahead by 1. Now a 2-goal advantage here, and they build their largest lead in the most important moment. Just a few minutes left in regulation.
And you know, both these teams have done situations at practice. 2 minutes left in a game, you're down by 2, what do you do? 2 minutes left, you're up by 2, what do you do? So they are well versed in this. So let's see who can execute to what they've practiced all year long.
As Stanford looked back at their semifinal game against UCLA, and there were a couple of wacky goals early, some deflections, things that you can't really account for, and they had to put that out of their mind and move forward. And here in this one, they get down early, have to figure out a way forward, and now it's on USC. They have drilled for these type of scenarios as well. Can they figure out a way?
Matchups, communication, what's happening, percentages. Who are you going to let take a shot? Who do you want to take that shot?
Under 2 to play now in the fourth quarter. Kearns fronted by Fisher. Here's to Haney. Kearns looking for any sort of opening. Weber now. Trojans need some movement here. Things a little static at the moment. Girall now. Gives off to Hochschild.
Great recovery there by Romer. There's a lot of movement, a lot of splashing.
That's too far for Weber.
There we
and
go.
It's taken away. Arya Fisher able to get in front of Bailey Weber to take possession, but does not put the ball in play. You have to move with the ball. You can't run the clock out. You see Bailey Weber now pops it up live, gets it live. Fisher on top of that, excluded. She's sent off. 6-on-5. This is a potential turning point here in this one if USC can take advantage.
We talked about ejection troubles here. I believe Arya Fisher just picked up her 3rd.
To Haney now.
A big possession.
Girall. Hochschild now. To Haney. Save. Avatal. A monster stop as sides come even with less than a minute to play and a timeout called by Stanford.
Great composure. 1 minute left. We'll see what these coaches draw up.
And Arya Fisher fouling out in the confusion there, got the ball back, but didn't start with it. You have to start to move. You pop it up to yourself or start to advance the ball, but no stalling here in the college game.
And so she steals it, gets turned over, she doesn't give enough space, and then she picks up that 3rd ejection, which is huge. We'll see if, you know, there's enough time here.
Yeah, 59 seconds left now. It's back to Stanford, so they'll look to take as much of that 34-second shot clock as they can, as you see Arya Fisher here. And the job she has done for the Stanford team, not just in the final here, but throughout the season. 3 assists in this one. She's also drawn 3 exclusions.
And it may have to be that SC, right, in the college game, you can go 7-on-6 this might be the time to put something out there. You're down by 2 with a minute left. You have to create some opportunities quickly.
Yeah, relatively new rule internationally and in the college game. You can add a field player into that goalie cap and advance them up into the front court. And so it's Stanford calling timeout as Kearns looks on.
SC might have to take some calculated risks here because they need the ball back, they need a quick score, and then to play some more defense.
Another one of those easier said than done situations. So it looks as if they have Vandeweghe O'Shea in the goalie cap, and so they're gonna go all out here to try and force a steal because they have an empty cage. So USC rolling the dice here with 57 seconds left. No goalie in. They've got Honey Vandeweghe O'Shea wearing the goalie cap to give them a 7-on-6 edge if they can get the ball back. But if Stanford gets a lane, there's going to be a problem here because the cage is left open. Here's Romer. Cardinal in front by 2. Romer. The cage is empty. 12 on the shot clock. And she will look to take more time off the clock rather than try and fire on the empty cage. Now 6 seconds left. Into Nuschel. 3 seconds left. Nuschel, empty cage. Ryan Nuschel hits for a 3-goal lead. 10-7 Stanford with 26 seconds left. And that will likely put the cap on this one for the Cardinal.
You know, and that's tough. Like, on defense, what can you do? On offense, you scored early. Like, no, you've got to be patient. So we'll see if SC can get a quick goal back.
7-on-6 attack now. Shot clock is off. The celebration is about to get underway for the Cardinal. Here's Hochschild. 12 seconds left. The shoes are coming off. The cell phones are coming out of the pockets. Stanford's about to go for a swim. 9 seconds left. They're going to count it down here in Michigan. 3, 2, 1. That's all. Stanford, your national champions in 2022. And a big hug for John Tanner. As the Cardinal are about to go into the water, they bring the NCAA title back to the farm.
What a game. Battle of defense. These two powerhouse teams that score lots of goals usually. I mean, there are some goals scored, but...
Everyone in now to celebrate. And the Stanford Cardinal, who trailed early in this one, they watched USC get off to a hot start on the advantage. They find a way back, led by some of their stars. Mackenzie Fisher, a game-high 4 goals in what could very well be her final game. Sister Arya, 3 big assists, 3 drawn exclusions. Maya Avital, 9 crucial saves, including a stop on a 6-on-5 late here in the 4th.
And the composure they had, right? Early on, 5-on-6 wasn't going well for them. They talked about how important that would be, and they were able to swing that around towards the end of the game. So I think that's probably the big game difference.
Stanford now adding an 8th NCAA championship in program history, joining titles in 2002, 2011, 12, 14, 15, 17, and 19. They were dumped out of the tourney last year in the semifinals. Did not want their season to end that way this year. They brought back some tremendous firepower in the form of Mackenzie and Arya Fisher and Ryan Nuschel. And it ends like this, a celebration in Michigan. So we will hear from some of these champions. The celebration continues. We will take a timeout. Your final score, Stanford defeating USC 10-7, NCAA champions in 2022. And the celebration continues here in Ann Arbor. The NCAA Women's Water Polo Championship broadcast presented by USA Water Polo, and Stanford defeating USC, the top seed, holding to form with a 10-7 win over USC. And we're going to hear from one of the stars in this one, Mackenzie Fisher, a big 4-goal effort to close out her Stanford career. As the Cardinal trailed early, they finally broke through, were able to tie the game, then they pull ahead, and they close it out with a flourish with a 3-goal victory as Nuschel puts it away on an empty cage to secure the victory. And now we welcome in Mackenzie Fisher. Fish, congratulations on the victory here.
Thanks, guys.
USC pushes ahead, and then it seems like you start to take things real personal. Like, you're not going to go out like this. Tell me about your mentality to battle back in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the first half, things weren't going the way we wanted. We weren't playing the way we wanted. We always talk about playing gritty and playing hard, and I think USC was outdoing us in that aspect in the first half. So in the half break, we just decided that that's not the energy we wanted to put forward, and I think you saw a whole new team in the second half.
Hi, Mackenzie, congratulations.
Hi, Brenda. Thank you.
So we see you defending now. We see you countering. Like, what did you tell yourself, like the last few minutes of this game, your last maybe game ever, and what are you telling your teammates?
I think we just talked about, I mean, we had Jess Steffens come in and talk to us like 2 weeks ago, and she said that you want to make sure that you don't regret anything when you're leaving the game, win or lose. And I think that that's kind of what we embodied in the end. Is I was like, I'm going to make sure I'm like, whether it's defending, countering, shooting, passing, like I want to make sure that's my best foot forward so I don't leave my last game with regrets.
This just happened, so it's hard to think about the big picture, but the way you might write a script for your water polo life, high school, Olympics, and now college, to end it like this, what can you say about it today in these moments after it just happened?
I think it's just super special. This team was really special to me all year. I kind of came in not knowing what to expect. I knew like 3 of the girls, and they're just all so incredible, so hardworking and so kind. So I think that was the specialist part of me. Most special part for me was, dang it, English. Was the most special part for me was just being in there with that group of girls and seeing how excited they were and how passionate they were. Like, everyone gave it their hardest, and everyone was so excited at the end, which was awesome.
Hey, Fish, congratulations. Continue the celebration, and best of luck going forward.
Thanks, guys.
Mackenzie Fisher, a big game, 4 goals, all part of this win for the Stanford Cardinal, and you could hear the excitement in her voice in helping her team to one final championship in her final run here with the Stanford Cardinal. Now we welcome back in John Tanner. Well, Coach, you talked about it pregame, little adjustments here and there. What did you see in that second half that allowed your group to push ahead?
Well, I mean, they're just really gritty. The amazing thing is they are just such good independent decision makers that honestly it was just really chaotic in there, and they had to solve a lot of problems on their own. So that was really gratifying. But, you know, Fish is amazing. And the whole group just really a lot of resolve throughout this. It was a gritty performance.
So question, congratulations, Coach Tanner. Question for you. So usually Mackenzie isn't a defender for you. You know, you're kind of down. You see her defending more. Is that something that comes from you, or does that come from Mackenzie just raising her arm and saying, I'm going to do this?
You got it. Yeah, she just decided she was going to do that. I mean, you know, she was a defender back in the day, but she's just so good everywhere in the pool that it was just a matter of her just saying, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to guard Kearns. And she was amazing.
JT, such a challenge to reincorporate talented players like this after 2 years away. You couldn't script a finish any better than the way you got here in Michigan. What's this journey been like?
Well, it's been crazy and certainly unexpected. I mean, yesterday was chaotic, to say the least, and we just couldn't finish. And today felt the same. And each time it felt like the game might get away from us, we really stood tall and yeah, made one big play after another, but it was Fish, and I mean, those were amazing finishes late in the game.
John Tanner, congrats on the NCAA title. Enjoy the celebration, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Brenda.
Bye.
John Tanner and the Stanford Cardinal pick up the championship. They're bringing another one back to the farm. This was another classic battle. In your mind, Brenda, what was the difference here? We know Mackenzie Fisher. Any other things that jumped out to you?
You know, it's how many players were able to step up towards the end of the game, right? Like, who's making the plays? It's not, you know, it's not always Mackenzie, it's not always Arya or Ryan. You had Jewel that had a big goal, you know, so it's like, how do you incorporate more players so that SC has to think about more players, right? So I think it was a battle of who's the 4th, 5th, and 6th player on each team that's going to make the difference.
Well, no surprise, the most valuable player in this NCAA tournament, Mackenzie Fisher, ends her Stanford career with a flourish. 4 goals, and you heard it from her right after the game. Just took it upon herself to play defense, to play offense, and to bring another one back to the farm. Another title as well to the Conference of Champions. That's all for us here in Ann Arbor at the University of Michigan. For our entire crew, for my broadcast partner, Brenda Villa, Greg Meskel, saying thanks so much for joining us. The final, Stanford, your NCAA women's water polo champions. They defeat the Trojans 10-7